So my name's Sandy Humby, and I'm here in New Jersey at Donaldson Greenhouses, and I'm just preparing for a talk about my work with rose alchemy. This has been a really special trip for me to the USA, and I've been based in New York and New Jersey to promote my new book and card set that has been developed around the work that I've been doing with the rose. So my journey with the rose started when I was a small child with my grandfather and his sacred rose garden in the middle of the New Forest in England. And the roses, I learnt very early on, were a really special plant. My grandmother was Rosa Kate and my sister Rosemary, so I was surrounded by roses. But my grandfather, when he was working with his rose garden, made it a very, very special place. And as children, we weren't allowed to go onto his rose garden. It was a very sacred space for him. Roses have woven their way all through my life. I was a couture wedding dress designer for 18 years, and we made thousands and thousands of roses to garland the dresses. And there's something about the rose that really speaks to the essence of the feminine. Well, about 4 years ago, at rose time, I went to the Alhambra in Granada, Spain. And this is a very magical Moorish palace in the south of Spain. And the gardens there, the rose gardens, are absolutely exquisite. They are a weave of waterways and rose bushes. And I took lots and lots of photographs. Photography was my passion. And I came back with all of these images that I loaded onto my computer. And a couple of days later, there was a little voice that was sort of sitting there in my head that said, "You'll put 11 of us together and work with us." And I didn't question it. I went to my computer and I gradually gathered 11 of these roses that wanted to come together. And that really was my starting point of my journey with the rose and the final development of this rose alchemy set, this rose oracle for the heart, that I've developed with my work with the rose. So what is it? What is it about the rose that speaks to us? Somehow or other she touches our hearts. Most people can remember either someone gifting them a rose and they remember something special about that person, or they remember going perhaps into a rose garden and just being transported by the fragrance and the beauty and the power that is inherent in the form of the rose. And so there's been a curiosity for me about why that is and how that is that the rose has woven her way right back into the eons of time. The oldest rose fossils were 30 million years old, and there has to be a message that's carried on the rose that allows her to still touch us. She's been developed, and she really is, in the form that we see her now, a weave of east and west, because the roses originally in the west here were 5-petaled roses, and they bloomed just once a year. And it was only when the roses from China started to come across on the tea clippers that the rosarians, those that were passionate about the rose and their connection with the rose, started to create something new, something that was more sustaining for our gardens, and they could manipulate form and the fragrance of the roses that we have in our gardens today. But nevertheless, there is something about the rose that calls to us. And this presentation today is asking us to stop and smell the roses, to take time in our lives to appreciate the beauty and appreciate the specialness of those that we have around us, and to be able to be totally present. And the rose, when we connect with her, allows us that moment in time. So I invite you to stop and smell the roses in your life. Thank you.